example of transformative justice system that in Zapatista communities, they do deal with domestic violence, with sexual assault, and it is, you know, the sort of whole transformative justice model in the United States, which has kind of been, you know, it's very developed. They don't sort of come to it from that specific perspective, but it has a lot of those same principles. And it, you know, it was a combination of the sort of indigenous traditions around having the elders, you know, sort of provide counsel, but it also really incorporated a lot of revolutionary ideas, changed, transformed ideas around women and gender roles. And when you were saying about there's no domestic violence in these communities because, you know, women have demanded they're not, I mean, a lot goes into that, right? To have a group, they call them the Honor and Justice Commission, to have a group of elders where the men on that Honor and Justice Commission are telling men it's not acceptable. A whole lot of work had to happen to get there, right? So there was political consciousness raising, there was the women standing up for themselves, there was an internal law that the Zapatistas passed to ban alcohol, which is a whole other story I shared earlier. But just to say that there are, I mean, the kind of process there is that the guiding principle is to resolve the harm, acknowledge the harm, and kind of resolve it, and reach an agreement that genuinely gets kind of at the heart of it. And there's a couple stories in my book about, you know, a woman who brings her case of domestic violence to the autonomous justice system and how it was resolved. And this isn't through the autonomous justice system, but there's another woman who just describes the process that her husband went through from being very abusive to then becoming very supportive and you know, just totally transforming who he was. And as someone who did a lot of work in the domestic violence movement in this country, and I think, you know, there's that debate within that world, right? About like, do you lock people up or what do you do? I met this man, and it's hard for me to imagine him as this person that this woman describes him being. You know, and just knowing that that transformation took place is so extraordinary. So just to say that there are models, you know, I know there's models in this country too, but just to say that there's models out there of what, you know, transformative justice, community-based justice can look like and be very successful, right? It doesn't have to mean you're sort of like not addressing sexual assault or not addressing violence with the same, you know, rigor.
Yeah, just, I accept that.